Last time on Fatal RPM.
Today we're going to have a little bit of my thought process on film. Our fenders are keyed multiple ways. One's going to be through the gas cap right there. That doesn't move. We also have the door. Let's work through this. Uh-oh, I must have hit something inside the door. Now we know what our gap is like on the bottom, which is fucking terrible. Oh my God.
4 to 6 days later.
What's going on, everybody? My name's Derek, this is Fatal RPM, and today's video, we're going to be continuing the bodywork on the Widebody. So where we had left off in the last episode is we got pretty much the entirety of the rear wide fender extension installed, as well as the door extension and side skirt here. We were going to start working on the front. However, I wasn't entirely comfortable with cutting into the car where we were at that point in time. So what we're going to be doing here today is more than likely finishing up this side as far as like starting to get into the body work goes. So by the end of today's video, I want to have this part sitting flush to the back of the car. And what I mean by that is right now this is how we sit here in the back. It's not like 100% where I want it. So once we get that sitting flush, I'm going to start to work on some of these lines here on the edge. So we're going to go ahead and work those up. We're going to fix these atrocious holes where the bolts are supposed to sit, where all the hardware sits. And if we have enough time at the garage here today, I want to get the front at least installed to the point where we can start doing the body work on it. So I want to be able to get the fender cut and get the actual piece installed on the car. But that's only if we have the time to do so. So let me go ahead and get you guys set up. We're going to pull these off and get the car mats off so that it's prepped for all the body work that we're going to do after. Alright, so after some work later, I had to drill some more holes. So yesterday's fit up did really help. Can't say that yesterday was a complete waste, but yesterday was kind of a complete waste. And this is the reason why. So this, like, I was looking at it and I was like, this body line doesn't line up, and that body line looks very intentional to line up. And I'm like, I know it's a cheap kit, but it's a cheap kit that was made for this car. So things kind of make sense in certain places. Not every place, but certain places. And this is kind of a big piece, and I'm like, it's kind of hard to mess that up. So the fact that this line was sitting about 2 inches below where it should have did not seem right. So what I had to do is the other hole was actually like down here, and it's gotten moved up. So that hole got re-drilled, that hole got re-drilled, so did that one. Now that I'm liking the way that this is fitting, as you can see like here, because this corner here was like down here. And I'm like, that's not right at all. So I feel like this is right. This arch looks good. Now we can kind of move on to actually getting this shaped up the way it's supposed to be. So what I'm going to focus on first is I think I'm going to get this door nailed down where it needs to be, its final spot, drill the other hole down there so that it can't rotate whenever I go to do the body work. After I do that, actually I'll probably mask up the door first and then go ahead and drill the hole. Let's go ahead, we're gonna pull this off, get the door masked up, and then honestly probably hop right into the body work. Alright, so it's been a little bit since I've kind of talked to the camera here, but this is what we have going on. So we've gone ahead, filled up a big, massive gap down there. I cannot find my sanding block, so that is not getting knocked down today. Unfortunately, because Harbor Freight's closed, and I refuse to pay more than $10 for a sanding block. But we also filled up this gap here, which I'll probably be able to sand down by hand. And I just want to kind of see what this is going to look like on the opposite side, because I know there's going to be a whole bunch more of this Mondo hair behind there. So let's go ahead and pop this thing off, because I am very, very, very curious. Also, I apologize if that fan is like massively loud, but it is also like 1,000 degrees in this garage, so I'll try to do what I can in post to deal with the noise. It's taking the masking tape with it. Alrighty. So this is what we're looking like. So it doesn't look too bad here. Then you look on the back side, you got a solid 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches of Bondo there. It's going to be interesting to try and cut that down, but it's looking pretty good here right now. So I think what I will try to do is sand this down just a little bit with some sandpaper, just so that I can safely touch this and not have to worry about getting fiberglass in my hand. There's a whole bunch of little hair sticking out of it. Alright, so after sanding, this is what we're looking like right now. Definitely knocked it down a considerable amount. Let's see what it looks like here on the car though. And whoo, that looks 10,000 times better. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. I mean, it looks like ass, but it fits better. So, going with where the mounting points are. This inside either needs sanded down, or this whole part here needs sanded down. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to cut this out How I'm gonna do that, I don't know. Probably gonna cut, not probably, I'm gonna have to cut this out. How I'm gonna do that, I don't know. But I'm gonna do it. The nut's pretty thick, so it's gonna take a little bit to get through. But I'm sure I can do it with this. Unfortunately, I don't really have a place to put you guys while I do this, so I'll see you in a second. So I did cut through it in a couple places, I'm sure. However, we definitely cut away a lot of it in there. I couldn't really get in down here because otherwise I would have kept cutting into the bottom here. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like under all this dust. And it looks pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, so what we're going to have to do now is we have to bring it in a little bit. And we're going to want to take off, looks like about, I'm just going to mark it on the bottom. Got to take a decent amount off right here, but honestly it looks like where most of it's going to be coming off. Not entirely sure how much that is, but it's looking like quite a bit. So the good thing is that this is relatively straight, so it shouldn't be too hard to cut into it there. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure where I left off, but I know I didn't get this. So what I actually ended up doing, because I only had one glove left, so this is all I'm going to be able to do today. It's getting pretty late and I'm not going to be able to go and pick up some other gloves. What I did is I tried to reshape the inside of this so that it can sit flush and like get it as close to this as I could. In turn, I kind of screwed up my whole job, so I'm going to have to redo part of this. It's not nearly as big as you can see. I can barely fit my fingertip in there, but I filled in some of the gaps here that were still there, and I'm going to go ahead and sand those down by hand on the side there to grab like a saw blade and kind of just hand saw in here real quick so I can get this free, because I don't want to pull it away from anything and break anything, because I did go over, and since it is the Bondo hair, it has the fiberglass in there, it's not weak, let's just say that. Yeah, there you go. Cool. Now what needs to happen is obviously all these holes need filling. That kind of goes without saying now. So we need to fill all these holes down here, and then I can repair this. Actually, I'll probably repair this first and then fill in all these holes, because I can only really get this nice and smooth and like gapped and everything correctly once this is rigid, because right now it deflects a little bit too much for me to be able to make this all smooth. I'm also going to sand this back down here on the bottom, which I'll probably do now before I head out. And yeah, so I definitely feel like some good progress was made today. At least that's what the OCD part of me wants to say, because there is no way I'm just gonna leave this the way it is on certain places. Like I can't rightfully have all these like this. It's just not gonna happen. Stuff like this, like I hate the way these look. None of them are the same shape. I can talk about those things for days, but we made some really good progress here on the door today. When we get back in the garage, I'm gonna finish this up more than likely, because I'll have more gloves and I have everything else I need. I do need to grab a new sanding block because mine grew legs and decided to want to walk away. So, as always, I want to thank you for watching the video. If you got any type of anything out of this information, entertainment, or what have you, background noise, I guess, go ahead and hit the like button down below. Also, if you'd like to support me any further, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button and join the community, and also click the bell so you get notified whenever I drop a new video. But as always, I want to thank you again for watching. Peace out. I'll see you in the next one.